Hi everybody, this video is focused on Work-Related Skills Unit 2 at a foundation level. If this isn't your level, make sure you find the appropriate video. Alright, Work-Related Skills Unit 2 is a bit different from Unit 1. It effectively joins Work-Related Skills Unit 1 and Personal Development Skills Unit 1 together, in that you're required to complete 3 projects, but also do 3 associated OH&S risk assessments for them. So it will end up being a total of 9 projects you're required to complete throughout the course of the year. All right. Work-Related Skills Unit 2 starts with Outcome 1, and it starts on page 1 of the booklet and lasts until page 7. Page 1 to 4 is you doing some project brainstorming. So here, it does say that you're meant to work in a group, but feel free to make this group people at home if necessary. And you're meant to come up with possible project ideas. They're entirely up to you, but come up with them. For each of them, you need to come up with positives and negatives for that project happening, and reasons why to do it and reasons why not to do it. Again, you do that for each possible project you have thought of, so that's why there are so many. In the end, you tell us which one you have chosen and why, and you present this to a staff member. You can just record yourself and send that through to us. As I said, page 5 to 7 is you making your plan. So firstly, we need detailed steps. What are you going to do? Why do you need to do it? And the date in which you aim to complete it. Please make these steps as clear as possible. Assume we know nothing. After that, you need to tell us what resources you need and why. So tell us what the resource is and why it is needed. This can be tools and equipment. Then the same for technology. What is technology is required and why is it needed? Technology doesn't just refer to ICT, but can be any technology such as a drill. After that, people in your group, what is their role? What responsibility do they have in your project? And why are they required? You should be able to do that off the top of your head. Please make sure after this that you tell us what your success criteria is. So how do we know that you're going to be successful? And make sure this gets sent to a staff member to be approved before you do it. We might suggest some changes just so you meet the criteria. Outcome 2 is asking you to look at employability skills. This again asks you to do this in a group, but if you can't, do it by yourself. If you want, feel free to do it online with a group of people so that you can do it all together. Okay, so think about the project you are intending to do. You need to identify some employability skills in relation to that work activity and write them down here. Employability skills could be communication, planning, working together as a team. It could be listening. It could be specific skills. It's up to you. But what are skills that you think are going to be needed that will make you more employable? For each of those, you need to tell me why they're important and how they'll help you complete your activity. So again, we have a bunch of space for you to do that. Just do one for each one of the employability skills that you identify. This needs to be presented to a staff member and you need to get feedback from them. So again, just send it to us and we'll give you some feedback. After that, we have this employability skills self-assessment. This looks at a series of measures, for instance, listening and understanding, and you need to assess yourself on how you do at those. So you might listen and understand often, sometimes, or rarely. You just tick the one that you think applies to you the best. What you then need to do is get a staff member to do this for you. You can either email it to them and ask them to do it, or you can wait until you see us in person so that we can do it then. Outcome 3 lasts from page 13 to 18. It reminds you again of the hierarchy of controls from Unit 1 and a risk matrix from Unit 1. These will help you make your risk assessment. So your risk assessment is the same as what you did for Work-Related Skills Unit 1. You identify the issue, tell us the details, tell us how you found it, and then look at potential impacts of that issue. So the injury, etc. You look at your initial risk rating. So using your risk matrix, you look at the consequence and the likelihood and combine the two together, and that will give you your ultimate risk rating. You write each of those in the appropriate box. You then tell us what your plan is going to be, who's responsible for it, and the timeline that you're looking at. So, for instance, if you have a puddle on the ground, your consequence for a slip hazard could be a major injury. And the likelihood's very likely. So your overall assessment is high. Your plan is to clean it up and put a sign up that says caution wet floor. Responsibility is yours, and timeline is as soon as you identify it. As a result, the consequence would still be high. It'd still be a major injury if you slip over, but you're highly unlikely to do it. So your risk assessment is medium, which means the risk rating has gone down. You do one of these for each thing that you're going to need to do to make your project safer. Again, that's why you have 4 total that you can do. Once you've done this, on page 16, you need to look at a potential issue that might arise from your activity. And it's just asking you to pre-plan a little bit so that you've got a plan in case this does happen. What are the consequences of that issue? And what are potential solutions to it? And what have you chosen to do and why? So, for instance, a potential issue could be that the drill's not available when you need it. The consequence could be that your timeline's thrown out and you can't get the project done. Solutions could be buy a new drill, borrow a drill off somebody else, etc. Create a sign-up sheet so that you have to book the drill. I've chosen the booking schedule to book the drill so that it's the easiest and it's going to be the most cost effective. Again, just do as many of those as you identify potential issues throughout. Now, through this activity, you're going to use ICT. Again, technology, it could be ICT or it could be non-digital. So you just write down what the technology is you're going to use. So you're going to use a phone to take pictures. You're going to use a computer to research. You're going to use a drill, whatever it is you're going to use. You then need to tell me what is a social consideration for responsible use of this. So social considerations are to think about how this could impact other people. A social consideration for a drill, for instance, is that you wouldn't use it after a certain hour because people are having dinner and getting ready for bed and all that sort of stuff. Ethical considerations require you to look at, again, considerations for other people, but in an ethics way, so that you're looking more about their emotional and considerations in regards to that. So, for instance, with a camera, you're not going to take pictures of people without their permission because that is unethical. So how are you going to use your technology in an ethical manner? After that, you're looking at outcomes 4 and 5. This is where you do the actual work, the project itself, and doing it safely so that you're meeting your risk assessment guidelines as well. So the paperwork for that goes from pages 19 to 35, and it requires you to do the work itself and the work diaries. Once you've done that, as you do that, you need to make sure you send pictures to us or movies as well so that we can authenticate that work. The work diaries are a little bit different in this. Again, it's done once a day that you do the work, but you need to tell me, what did you do today? Who worked with you today and what were their roles and responsibilities? How well did you work as a team today? What technology did you use today and how did you use it ethically and with social considerations? What employability skills did you demonstrate today and how did you do so? Just get those out of that as self-assessment so that you can go through that. What was your goal today and did you achieve it? How did you manage your own tasks during the activity today? And how well did your group organise itself today? What can be improved upon? This is all just reflection for you. What problem-solving processes did you use today? Was it effective? Can it be improved? So again, you do one of these for each day. There are a heap in there, just in case you do a lot of days of projects. You don't need to use them all if your project doesn't take that long. After that, there are some reflections that need to be completed by a staff member, a self-reflection, and a peer. These start on page 30 and go to page 35. For a peer, just get someone in your family to do it for you, and you can do your self-reflection. The last outcome that you need to do once you've done that is outcome 6. For this, you need to prepare, plan, and deliver a presentation on your work activity, which you've finished now. You need to include the following items in it: the planning process of the activity, the implementation of the activity, planning for OH&S and other issues, the final outcomes of the activity, and how the activity went as a whole. This does need to be presented to a staff member and peer, so record it, send it to them so that they can give you feedback for it. And then you need to do a reflection on how that went yourself, okay? That self-reflection is on page 40, and that is the last thing that you need to do. We allocate you 5 weeks to get this done. We expect you to be starting this in week 6 of term 2, so we would expect 1 done by the end of the term. If you have any questions or concerns, please don't hesitate to email, and we'll get back to you as soon as we possibly can. Stay safe. Thank you.